was then removed against his will by guards from the prison and was not allowed to be treated. And they are saying that basically this could kill him because of the blood clots and the care that they are alleging he is not receiving.
These are people who seek to kill Mr. Kelly rather than allow the corrupt criminal conduct of those who manufactured his convictions be exposed.
Let me say it this way. It's not allegedly having evidence. We do have evidence, and one piece of evidence we've already presented in the form of a signed declaration from Keyshawn Mogadamudi, Robert's former cellmate. And what he describes is having been solicited by prosecutors who are offering him a reduced sentence in exchange for stealing Mr. Kelly's privileged attorney-client correspondence.
On a lot of these platforms, they've been holding me back from really going in and exposing what I really want to expose.
That's R. Kelly's ex-cellmate, and he's finally spilling all the dirty secrets from behind bars. If you thought R. Kelly's prison drama was over, think again. It's getting wild.
Mr. Stein, in his declaration, has set forth the reason that was given. The reason is that Mr. Kelly was about to expose some facts that would be extremely inflammatory and damaging to the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice. And because of that, the Bureau of Prisons instructed Michael Glenn Stein to go to Butner and execute R. Kelly. And Mr. Stein made clear and gave us extraordinary detail when we spoke to Mr. Stein. We didn't use this until we actually went down and met with Mr. Stein for hours. And he told us in extraordinary detail that this is not the first instance, that this happens all the time, that the Aryan Brotherhood has been directed to commit murders and beatings at the behest of prison officials for years.
We're talking about murder plots, high-level cover-ups, and prison gang connections that go all the way to the top. Buckle up. This goes deeper than anyone expected. So here's the real scoop. In June 2025, everything changed when R. Kelly's legal team, led by attorney Bo Brinley, dropped a bombshell motion in Chicago federal court. And this wasn't some regular let my client out move. This one claimed that both prison officials and the Aryan Brotherhood were allegedly wrapped up in a plot to have Kelly killed. Yeah, murdered in cold blood. And the craziest part, they didn't just make these claims out of thin air. The motion included a sworn statement from someone with direct knowledge of the hit job.
And that discussions have been had about poison in the food hall, about poison in the commissary. Discussions with Mr. Stein have been had about stabbings. These are the kinds of methods that have been discussed.
A terminally ill inmate named Mike Glenn Stein. He claims he was a shot caller for the Aryan Brotherhood, and he was allegedly offered freedom in exchange for taking out Kelly. You heard that right? According to Stein, 3 prison officials from the Federal Correctional Institution in Butner, North Carolina, came to him with a dark proposal: take Kelly out and walk free. Stein said he was told that Kelly was about to expose explosive secrets that could seriously damage the Bureau of Prisons and the Department of Justice. Their so-called solution? Eliminate him before he could speak. But it gets even more twisted. Stein says they offered him a specific plan. He'd be transferred to another facility where he'd have the chance to escape, so he could die a so-called free man instead of rotting away behind bars. And considering Stein had a past of actually escaping from prison, yeah, this offer didn't sound too far-fetched. Remember, this guy was locked up at ADX Florence, the Supermax. Not exactly beginner level, so when he says he believed the offer was real, people took notice.
They have said that if he is to do this, he is a terminal cancer patient, he's going to die in the near future. That's a fact. And they have said that he will be transferred and he'll get the opportunity to walk away. And Michael Glenn Stein has a history of escaping from the Bureau of Prisons. He escaped previously. That's why he spent so long at the ADX Supermax in Florence. And all of a sudden, he was moved to this relatively low security facility at Butner and put near R. Kelly. That's a fact.
But here's the shocker. Instead of following through, Stein says he snitched to Kelly himself. When he got transferred to Kelly's unit in March 2025, instead of pulling the trigger, he allegedly told Kelly everything. According to what Brinley told the court, Stein warned Kelly that this kind of setup wasn't rare. He claimed that prison officials regularly get gang members, especially from the Aryan Brotherhood, to carry out beatings and murders on command. If true, this would be a bombshell that goes way beyond just R. Kelly. It would suggest deep-rooted corruption baked into the federal prison system. And get this, it didn't stop there. Kelly's legal team says that just months later, in June 2025, they found out another Aryan Brotherhood member was allegedly told to kill both Kelly and Stein. This second attempt included specific tactics too, like slipping poison into Kelly's food at the chow hall or stabbing him when no one was watching. The emergency motion set off alarms.
Kelly allegedly has been asking for months to get some medical attention to a swollen leg. R. Kelly's legal team says that once he was taken to the hospital for this overdose situation, R. Kelly brought up the swollen leg, and they allege that doctors there then took a look at the swollen leg and they found blood clots in R. Kelly's right leg, allegedly, in his left leg, in his lungs, allegedly. And R. Kelly's legal team is saying that R. Kelly was then told he should stay 7 days in that hospital for surgery, and then it would be an additional 2 weeks because of whatever care they were going to need to give him. But his legal team alleges that once the prison was contacted, R. Kelly was then removed against his will by guards from the prison and was not allowed to be treated. And they are saying that basically this could kill him because of the blood clots and the care that they are alleging he is not receiving.
But instead of getting help, Kelly's situation allegedly got even worse. He was tossed into solitary confinement at FCI Butner. No contact with family, no sunlight. And according to his legal team, the conditions are filthy and completely messed up. Brindley claims this ain't about protecting Kelly, it's retaliation, pure and simple. He says Kelly's being punished for blowing the lid off a deep, dangerous conspiracy. So now, the world's watching. If even half of this is true, we're not just talking about one man's safety. We're talking about a full-blown crisis inside the U.S. prison system. Kelly's so paranoid right now, he won't even touch his prison food or anything from commissary. He seriously thinks someone's trying to poison him. But the so-called murder plot? That's just the beginning.
So in the emergency filing, they allege that R. Kelly was giving an additional dose of medication by prison staff. And they're alleging that because of that additional medication that he was instructed to take and that he actually took, he suffered a overdose. So they say that R. Kelly woke up allegedly on June 13th and he felt faint. He was dizzy. He started to see black spots. He got up and he fell. He crawled to the door of the cell and he lost consciousness then. At that point, he was placed on a gurney. He was taken by ambulance to a nearby hospital because they tried to take him to the hospital inside of or associated with the facility that he's in, but they couldn't help him.
According to his legal team, there's a whole conspiracy behind the scenes. And they're saying the entire case against him is built on illegal moves and dirty tactics. His lawyers are dropping bomb after bomb, claiming major constitutional violations and straight-up misconduct by prosecutors. The wildest part? They say one of Kelly's own cellmates was used as a secret weapon to help build the case against him. That cellmate, Keyshawn Moda Moody, signed a declaration claiming prison guards helped him steal confidential legal documents from Kelly. Not only that, but the stolen papers were supposedly copied by a Bureau of Prisons investigator and then handed over to prosecutors to use in court. If that's true, it's a serious violation of attorney-client privilege, and it could blow Kelly's conviction wide open. His lawyers are saying this isn't just shady, it's illegal on a whole different level. And if proven, it could mean Kelly's entire case gets tossed out.
Absolutely. We're going to seek every opportunity to, one, make sure that Robert Kelly doesn't get killed, and number two, to see that he is freed based on what we believe to be and will prove to be a corrupt prosecution, the kind of which President Trump has promised to eradicate.
But prosecutors aren't having any of it. On June 16, 2025, they fired back with some real cold language, calling Kelly's murder plot claims fanciful and deeply unserious. They even doubled down on painting him as a serial and unrepentant child molester, and said his accusations mocked the harm suffered by his victims. Basically, they're saying Kelly's just making noise to distract from the facts. And when it comes to him being stuck in solitary, prosecutors say that's actually a sign that prison officials are taking his safety seriously, not proof of a murder conspiracy like his lawyers claim. Total opposite stories here. Now here's where things take a wild political turn. Kelly's legal team made a bold move and went straight to Donald Trump. They publicly asked the former president to give Kelly a presidential pardon. saying Trump should understand what it's like to be targeted by the justice system. And guess what they used to back their request? Trump's own decision to commute the sentence of Gangster Disciples co-founder Larry Hoover.
Dream Hampton is the executive producer of Surviving R. Kelly. You know, that's her project, and that's Jay-Z ex-girlfriend, and you know, he funded mostly all of her projects, if not.
That move had people talking, but so far, no pardon has come through. Kelly's team is also saying this whole saga reflects a much bigger issue: the targeting of powerful black men in America. His former cellmate, Ronnie Bow, even compared Kelly's legal situation to other high-profile cases, hinting that there's a pattern here that goes way beyond just Kelly.
I feel like R. Kelly was eventually blacklisted. I feel like I'm blacklisted. I feel like there's many other artists who probably got way more talent than most of the artists we hear in the industry that is blacklisted.
Still, despite all the drama, the legal system hasn't budged. On February 12, 2025, the Second U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Kelly's 30-year sentence. They weren't buying the arguments about biased jurors or the misuse of racketeering laws. His attorney, Jennifer Bonjean, said she's taking it to the Supreme Court, but they already refused to hear the appeal in October 2024 on his Chicago conviction. But even with all this madness going on, Kelly's still grinding behind bars. In a March 2025 podcast interview with another inmate named T, Kelly claimed he's been writing music like crazy. According to him, he's got 25 full albums written while locked up. 25! Whether that's true or just talk, it's clear he's not giving up without a fight. Now this is where things take a dark and unexpected twist. According to brand new court documents, R. Kelly went through a terrifying medical emergency while locked up, and his legal team is pointing fingers straight at the prison staff. They're claiming he was given the wrong medication, and that's what triggered the whole thing. But that's not even the worst of it. His health overall? It's going downhill fast. Kelly has diabetes and other serious health issues, including blood clots in his legs. He even told his team those clots almost killed him.
Well, on the way to the outside hospital, his team alleges that it was overheard someone in the ambulance from the hospital say this is going to open a whole new can of worms. R. Kelly's legal team then alleges that once he got to the hospital, it was then revealed that he had been giving an overdose quantity of medicine.
So when you add a medication mistake on top of all that, yeah, it's not looking good. His mental and physical state is reportedly in steady decline. But the real shockers? They're coming from inside the prison walls, straight from the mouth of a former cellmate who is exposing secrets like you wouldn't believe. His ex-bunkie isn't just telling stories. He's dropping industry bombs and spilling tea that's got people shook. What we're about to get into isn't just wild. It's next level. We're talking about explosive claims involving R. Kelly's conversations behind bars, secrets about the music industry, and what really happens when someone who knows too much starts becoming a problem for powerful players at the top. The kind of players who don't want their business out in the open. And the guy making all these claims, his name is Ronnie Bow. Real name Ronnie Bow Williams. A former federal inmate who didn't just do time with Kelly, he wrote a book based on what the singer allegedly told him. But let's keep it real for a second. These are allegations. Some parts are confirmed, some are up for debate, and others straight up can't be verified. Still, they're too important to ignore because they shine a spotlight on a system that might be way more corrupt than anybody's ready to admit. Now, Ronnie Bow describes himself as an author and CEO of Grind Mode Inc., but that's not why his name's buzzing. He's relevant here because he spent real time locked up with R. Kelly at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago, and the things he says he heard, they're jaw-dropping. According to Bow, Kelly confided in him about deep secrets in the music industry, like stuff that could seriously shake things up if it ever came out. But this isn't just about what Kelly said, it's what Bow did that added fuel to this fire. Bow claims he actually helped get Kelly moved from protective custody into general population. Yeah, out of isolation and into the mix with everybody else. And this wasn't just luck. Bow says he already had connections with major players inside, shot callers from sets like the Gangster Disciples, Latin Kings, and Blackstones. And according to him, they all agreed Kelly should be allowed in Gen Pop. That's a big deal.
Because where we come from, like whether you was with a gang or not, we live by certain principles and codes. And in that industry, is a lot of that go on. Yeah. Like when you talk about selling your soul and that really go on. You know what I mean? Or this executive, you got this rich executive in the industry, and he could fuck over your career. He might want to play with your or something. He might want to play with your or something. But where we come from, it's like, what? And that's the type of R. Kelly was. R. Kelly told Quincy Jones, man, because of the God I serve, I can't get down like that.
In prison, when powerful crews give someone the green light to move freely, that means they've got his back. They offered him a level of safety and respect most don't get. But what really shook people up are the stories Bo says Kelly shared with him once that move was made. And these weren't just random jailhouse convos. Bo claims Kelly dropped major truth bombs. Stories that, if they're true, could explain everything that led to his downfall and expose just how dirty things might really be behind both the prison gates and the music industry's closed doors. Now we're stepping into the deep end, the part of the story that dives into industry conspiracies, stolen catalogs, and serious accusations against some of the most powerful names in the game. One of the wildest claims Ronnie Bo makes, it's about R. Kelly's music catalog. And if what Bo says is true, this story goes way beyond personal beef. According to Bo, R. Kelly found out that his music catalog was worth a mind-blowing $1.2 billion. That's right, billion with a B, and that would have made him richer than Jay-Z at the time. But here's the insane part. Even with that billion-dollar catalog under his name, Kelly was struggling just to pay the bills. He had to keep hitting the road and doing shows non-stop just to stay afloat. How does that even make sense? Bo says it's because somebody else was pulling the financial strings. Kelly reportedly started digging into where his money was really going and trying to reclaim what was his. And that's when things started heating up legally. The lawsuits, the charges, it all got worse once he started asking the wrong questions and stepping on powerful toes. But let's talk about one of the most controversial claims in Bo's whole story, what he says about Jay-Z.
And then those negative emotions that Jay had, jealousy or whatever you want to call it, it f***ed up the tour because, you know, R. Kelly said that basically when they went to Madison Square Garden earlier that day, you know, he was getting random death threats.
According to Bo, the beef between Kelly and Hav went way deeper than what the public ever saw. This wasn't just some creative disagreement, this was personal. Here's what Bo says went down. Kelly was originally supposed to do the Best of Both Worlds project with Tupac, but when Pac got killed, Jay-Z slid in and took the spot. Bo claims Jay-Z saw it as his moment to rise to legendary status, to put himself on the same level as Biggie and Pac. But according to Kelly's version of events, the collab didn't go how Jay-Z hoped. And it gets darker. Bo claims Kelly started receiving death threats before their Madison Square Garden show. When he hit the stage, Kelly said he saw people in the crowd throwing threatening signs at him.
The man catalog worth $1.2 billion. So technically they supposed to announced him as a billionaire before they announced Jay-Z as a billionaire. And when he realized that, he like, damn, I'm as big as Mike now. Like,
yeah.
And like, believe it or not, he wasn't making no money unless he went on tour and did a show. He had to do shows and go on tour to survive.
That's when he bailed mid-performance. Then Jay-Z's team allegedly pepper sprayed him backstage. Yeah, you read that right, but Bo doesn't stop there. He also claims that Jay-Z secretly funded the surviving R. Kelly docuseries through his ex, Dream Hampton, who just so happened to be the executive producer. If that's real, then one of the biggest names in music helped bankroll the very project that tanked Kelly's legacy. That's a power move on another level. And this pattern of shutting down artists, Bo says it's everywhere. He claims there's an organized system in the industry to blacklist anyone who doesn't follow the unwritten rules. He even shares his own experience. He says when he tried to get booked on The Breakfast Club, they turned him down, saying, iHeart won't allow it because of the buzz around his name. According to him, big names like Jay-Z can make calls that shut doors before you even get a chance to knock. Bo paints a picture of a music industry where talent ain't enough. If you're not loyal to the right people or you speak out against the machine, you're done. And let's not forget, while Kelly was locked up, real danger was always around the corner. In 2020, at Chicago's Metropolitan Correctional Center, Kelly got jumped by an inmate named Jeremiah Shane Farmer, a known Latin Kings member doing life. But Bo says there's more to it than just inmate beef.
He filing about what they doing to all blacks in America. They violating the out of our human rights. R. Kelly case too. They violating that man human rights. Larry Hoover, like they violating his human rights. He got another bogus.
He claims Kelly's fans had been protesting outside for days, causing prison lockdowns. That meant no phones, no commissary, nothing. For everyone inside. That tension built up fast, and other inmates blamed Kelly for the chaos. But here's the eerie part. Farmer later told the media that the government put him up to it. If that's true, it wasn't just a random beatdown, it was a hit directed from higher up. Bo's claims hit different because he's not just shouting into the void. He's laying out stories, names, and connections that make you wonder, how much of this is real, and how deep does it really go? Ronnie Bo ain't just talking, he's got receipts. He wrote a whole book about his time inside, and even sued federal agents in real life. In one case, he took on DEA agent Timothy P. Gray and actually won a settlement. That puts some weight behind his words. He's not just running his mouth, he's gone toe-to-toe with the feds and came out with a win. Bo paints R. Kelly as a man who refused to sell out, no matter what it cost him. He says Kelly stood his ground even when powerful industry figures tried to push him to play dirty. "I can't get down like that, homie," Kelly reportedly told Bo after turning down advances from big names like Quincy Jones. That's major. If true, this refusal to compromise may have cost Kelly opportunities and made him enemies in an industry where some say favors and silence are the price of fame. From what Bo reveals, it's not just about one artist, it's a full system built on control. A game of blackmail, financial tricks, and legal intimidation. And if Kelly really got targeted, then the bigger question is, how many others got the same treatment but stayed quiet? Is this just about what happened to R. Kelly in prison? Or is this part of something much bigger, about how the entertainment machine silences anyone who knows too much?
You know what I'm saying? So you know, with that not happening, of course, because Pac ended up passing away, did R. Kelly go into detail on how him and Jay ended up working together and doing the best of both worlds?
You asked that at the perfect time, because that's kind of where this come from. Like, see, Jay-Z, he knew that Pac and R. Kelly was supposed to do best of both worlds together.
But to really make sense of why Kelly ended up in this situation, to understand why he became the target, you gotta rewind all the way back. Let's keep it 100. This didn't just start in courtrooms or prison cells. It started decades ago with scandals that the world couldn't ignore. Back in 1994, when R. Kelly was 27, he secretly married 15-year-old Aaliyah in Chicago. Yeah, 15. That's when things already started looking foul. And to make it happen, they allegedly faked her ID to say she was 18. Her parents weren't having it though. They stepped in, and the marriage got annulled in '95. But it gets even messier. Court testimony later revealed that someone from Kelly's camp allegedly dropped $500 to score that fake ID, supposedly because they thought Aaliyah might be pregnant. That moment right there, that was the spark that lit the fuse. From there, it snowballed. In the late 90s and early 2000s, woman after woman started coming forward. Names like Tiffany Hawkins, Tracy Sampson, and others, all accusing Kelly of inappropriate behavior, most of it involving minors. And what did Kelly do? He didn't face trials. He cut checks, paid them off to stay silent. The accusations kept coming, but the lawsuits kept disappearing. It became a pattern that was impossible to ignore. And while the public whispered, Kelly kept dropping hits, touring arenas and living like nothing could touch him. That all changed in 2002. The law finally made a move. 21 charges of child-related abuse after a video leaked showing Kelly allegedly doing disturbing things with a girl who looked around 14. People thought, okay, this is it. He's going down now. But nope. In 2008, Kelly beat all 21 charges. The victim and her family wouldn't testify. The jury couldn't be 100% sure of her age in the video. And just like that, he walked. He kept moving like he was bulletproof. Albums, shows, interviews, like nothing ever happened. But underneath all that, the truth was bubbling. Investigative journalist Jim DeRogatis had been tracking Kelly for years. And in 2017, BuzzFeed dropped a bombshell article claiming Kelly was running what they called a cult. Women were allegedly being kept in houses, isolated from family, phones taken, and every part of their lives controlled. That's when the Mute R. Kelly movement exploded. People started calling for a full boycott. No more streams, no more shows. The pressure was building, but the real knockout blow came in 2019. Surviving R. Kelly, the Lifetime docuseries, rocked the world. It wasn't just random accusations, It was woman after woman, ex-wife Andrea Kelly, survivors like Johanna Pace, speaking out about alleged physical, emotional, and mental abuse. Their stories hit hard. The doc was raw, emotional, and powerful. The backlash was instant. RCA Records dropped Kelly. Big artists like Lady Gaga and Celine Dion scrubbed their collabs with him from streaming platforms. The music industry, which once protected him, started slamming the door shut. And within months, the justice system came knocking again. In February 2019, Cook County charged Kelly with 10 counts of aggravated criminal abuse involving 4 women. The walls weren't just closing in, they were crushing him. So yeah, Kelly's downfall was loud and public. But according to Bo and others, there's a much deeper story underneath. One where power, secrets, and control rule the industry. And stepping out of line could cost you everything. 3 of the alleged victims were minors, between 13 and 16 years old. But those state charges? That was just the appetizer. The real heat came in July 2019 when the feds swooped in heavy, slapping Kelly with 18 federal charges. Everything from child exploitation and trafficking to kidnapping, forced labor, obstruction of justice, and racketeering. It was a full-blown takedown. Kelly got arrested and denied bail. The court called him a flight risk and a danger to the community. No house arrest, no special treatment. The government wasn't playing. And when it came time for trial, the whole situation turned devastating. In September 2021, after a 6-week courtroom war in Brooklyn, a federal jury found Kelly guilty on all 9 counts, 1 racketeering charge and 8 Mann Act violations. The prosecutors painted a picture of a man who wasn't just a performer. He was running an enterprise, a full criminal operation with managers, bodyguards, and assistants helping him recruit, isolate, and abuse girls, boys, and women for decades. 11 victims, including Aaliyah, took the stand. They told stories of brutal control, deep manipulation, and physical abuse. Many of them were still minors when it happened. They described how Kelly forced them to call him daddy, wouldn't let them speak to other men, and punished them with beatings or worse if they broke the rules. Some of the abuse caught on tape. On June 29, 2022, Judge Ann Donnelly dropped the hammer, 30 years in prison. She said Kelly's actions were filled with violence, cruelty, and control, and that he used his fame and money as weapons to target vulnerable people. 7 survivors spoke directly in court, telling how their lives were shattered, while Kelly sat there stone-faced, showing zero remorse, and the punishment still wasn't over. Fast forward to September 2022, in a separate Chicago federal trial, Kelly caught 6 more guilty verdicts. 3 counts of producing child pornography and 3 counts of enticing minors. This case centered around his 14-year-old goddaughter, referred to as Jane, in court. And Jane, she testified herself, confirming she was the girl in those graphic tapes. She said Kelly abused her hundreds of times before she turned 18. In February 2023, Judge Harry Leinenweber added another 20 years to Kelly's sentence. 19 of those years are running concurrently with his New York sentence, but 1 year was stacked on top. That brings Kelly's grand total to 31 years behind bars. From sold-out stadiums and platinum plaques to prison lockdowns and solitary cells, Kelly is now fighting to survive in a very different kind of spotlight. One where federal agents, white supremacist gangs, and powerful music industry insiders are all allegedly trying to keep him silent forever. As of the latest updates, Kelly remains locked in solitary confinement at FCY Butner Medium 1 in North Carolina. No ruling has been made yet on his emergency motion. A hearing was scheduled for June 20th, 2025, in front of U.S. District Judge Martha O. But there's legal confusion about whether that Chicago court even has the authority to handle it, since Kelly's locked up out of state. If nothing changes, Kelly's earliest release date is December 2045. He'll be 78 years old if he makes it that far. With his health deteriorating and allegations of threats on his life coming from all angles, that's a big if. So the real question is, will we ever know the full truth? With the amount of power allegedly working to silence him, and the man himself possibly spending the rest of his life in lockdown, the secrets Kelly says he holds may go with him to the grave. Once called the king of R&B, his fall from grace hasn't just rocked the music industry, it's still shaken the foundations of legal, political, and entertainment systems to this day. This story ain't just about one man anymore, it's about a whole machine. A system that, according to some, punishes those who step out of line, and destroys those who know too much. Like, share, and subscribe to Juicy Scoop TV for more deep dives and exclusive breakdowns you won't get anywhere else. And don't forget to click on those suggested videos on your screen to keep uncovering the stories they don't want you to hear.